Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. In today's video I want to show you how to work with crepe paper, how to stretch and shape the large petals for peonies and maybe for other flowers as well, because these are the basic principles of working with crepe paper and you can apply them to any of your projects. So let's dive in. Today I use Italian crepe paper Carta Tecnica Rossi 180 grams. You can also use Italian 140 and sometimes Chinese extra heavy paper will work too, but I want to warn you in advance that its ability to hold the shape is much worse, so just keep that in mind. By the way, I'm thinking of making a video about comparing different types of crepe paper side by side and showing you all the differences. So if this is something you will be interested in, please let me know in the comments. Okay, I'll start by cutting a few strips of paper. And the exact width doesn't matter here, because you will determine it by yourself depending on the size of the flower you want to make. So I will show you with an example of a medium-sized petals. So I cut a few strips and then I cut them into 3 parts. By the way, crepe paper has a very nice feature. It has machine lines that are really convenient because we can use them as a ruler. And I have the blanks ready, so let's see what we can make of them. Look, the most common petal shape for peony is the drop shape. This is very simple and fine petal shape, and it's very easy to cut out. So I usually take 2 blanks at once, but I don't like to take more than 2 at a time, because firstly, it will be difficult to cut many layers of paper at once, and secondly, the cut edge will not be neat and precise, and I don't want that. So look, I fold the paper in half and start by cutting to the middle point, and from there I begin to round off the top part of the petal. And this is how I get my drop shape. And before stretching the petal, make sure you grab it right side up, because you probably already know that crepe paper has a front and back side. Maybe it's not so important for the light colors, but it will be quite noticeable on dark paper colors, because the front side has a richer color than the back side. So think in advance how your finished flower will look like. For example, if it will be an open flower and when you will look at it from the front, you will see more the inside of the petals. Then take and stretch the petals with the front side up. But if your finished flower will be more closed, so you will see more of the external side of the petals, then take and stretch them with the back side up. And you can also spot the front side by machine lines. They're curved outward on the front side and incurved on the back side. I also prefer to stretch the petals 2 at a time, because if you only stretch one petal, it's very easy to overstretch the paper, especially if you don't have experience working with crepe paper. The overstretched paper will weaken and deform over time for sure, and eventually the finished flower will lose its original shape. I'll show you in a minute how the overstretched paper looks. Okay, my first petals will be an example of a more closed petals if you want to achieve like a round shaped peony. So I take them with my fingers and begin to smoothly stretch right in the middle. Please note that I work more not with my thumbs but with the rest of my fingers, because I don't want the rough marks from my thumbs. This is how you get a nice and round petal shape. Look, I don't touch and I don't stretch the upper and lower parts of the petal. I only stretch the middle part, because I want it to be as concave as possible. With this technique you get this very nice shape and the petal looks a little bit like a heart. Do you agree? Okay, let's move on, and let me now show you with the second petal how you can overstretch the paper. Look, I take a petal and start stretching it really hard, working more with my thumbs. And that's it. Look, you see these marks? This is overstretched paper, which firstly doesn't look nice at all, and secondly it will definitely lose its shape over time. Okay, let's move on to the next petals. The same, I take 2 blanks and cut out the drop shape. In this case, I still want my petal to be more closed and concave as the previous one, but at the same time I want the top edge of the petal to be round and not change its shape. So here I stretch not only the middle part but also a little bit higher too. Note that I'm not stretching the very edge, and you never want to stretch the petal's edge. It will not look good, just trust me. Look, this petal looks so nice and natural to me. I personally like it a lot more than the first one because I like more simple and clean shapes. This heart-shaped petal looks a little bit sharp to me, but I know many paper artists prefer this heart shape to any others, so it's definitely a matter of personal preferences. Let me show you one more mistake that you potentially can make. Look, when you cut the petal, you start by cutting till the middle, and then instead of starting to gradually round the shape, you continue to cut straight and round it only at the very top. So when you will stretch the petal like this, it will be square on the top and it doesn't look really nice. But maybe this is exactly what you originally intended to make, but if it's not, just keep in mind that this can be a potential mistake. Okay, how else you can shape the petals? The option number 3, you can stretch the petal a little bit and then gather the bottom edge and secure it with the hot glue or stapler. If it's a small petal like mine, you cannot fix it with anything, just gather the paper, make folds and then glue it to the flower so it will be fixed once it's glued. This method is best to use on very large petals as they are pretty heavy, so you want to make sure that they will not lose their shape over time, and by fixing them like this, you add rigidity to them. And the last thing I wanted to show you is how you can a little bit play with the petals look. You can make the petals curly by applying 2 techniques. So the first one, you take the petal and gently pull the paper in different directions with your fingertips. You can make as many pulls as you like. You can make just one pull in the center, for example, or make them along the entire edge of the petal. So this petal will be really curly. And here's the second technique. Before stretching the petal, you fold the paper and twist it like this. And then you will stretch it as you like. Many paper artists use this technique and they love it because it gives a very interesting look to the petal. But please keep in mind that even small modifications to your petal will change the whole look of the finished flower. But it's always worth to experiment and to see how you like it better. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did, and let me know if it was helpful or if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.